If you are a financial advisor, life insurance agent, real estate agent, or any other consultant in the US market, and you're frustrated with your digital marketing strategies and they haven't produced what you'd like, and you want to learn the digital marketing secrets for 2025, then you're going to want to join us for this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly.
Welcome to the Digital Advisor Weekly broadcast. Looking to boost your business with the latest trends, innovative tech, and must-have resources? Join us to discover how to successfully scale your practice and automate the process. Here to guide you is your host, the dynamic leader of Advisor Marketing Hub and managing partner at American Financial, Rob Sousa.
Welcome, everyone. Yes, today we're going to be talking about the secrets that the pros don't want you to know about what's happening in digital marketing for 2025. And today's going to be a great episode while we're getting started and waiting for people to log on. And we do this every week. If you are any one of the professionals we discussed, advisor, agent, consultant, sales rep in the US, and you'd like to up your SEO game in 2025, get a head start and stick around for today. But what we'd like you to do, if you are one of those positions I mentioned above, please go ahead and put down what city that you are serving. It could be nationwide, so you can just put the US and so where you're from and the markets that you serve. And then we also have virtual assistants that work for these professionals that are working from around the world. And so if you are representing one of those positions, then go ahead and put what city you're from. This is a little different from last week, and the city of the advisor that you serve. So looking forward to seeing where people are at. We're going to be interactive. We're going to be asking questions today. And the more engagement that we have today, the more we're going to give away. All right, let's jump in. And here we go. All right. So why SEO in 2025 is a game changer. There's two very, very specific reasons why SEO has completely and radically changed more in the last 12 months than it has in the last 12 years. And it's two very specific reasons combined because it's not one without the other. And the first is AI. AI came onto the scene it came onto the scene more than just in 2024, but it became prolific and used on a regular basis by most professionals during 2024. And we're going to see how we can leverage that for 2025. So that combined with YouTube. Whoa, wait a second, Rob. I thought you were talking about search engine optimization, and I thought that we're trying to optimize the search results so people can find our websites and our sales funnels and all the other collateral that we've put out there on the web so that they can find us and schedule appointments with us. And you'd be thinking right if you were in beginning of 2024. Now that's not the case. Now what we're seeing is with the proliferation of AI, what we're seeing is that regular content marketing, article marketing, even email marketing, which is I'm going to be talking about next week, it's become so informational, so educational, because anybody can get education about just about anything online, either on a search engine or in AI search. So people are absolutely flooded with information that really we don't need to be disseminating on a regular basis because they already feel like they have access. So why would they tune in? Why would they read an article unless you're providing something more than just content, information, data, statistics that can be produced by AI? So we're going to teach you today how some of my favorite coaches have used YouTube in combination with AI to create a much more engaged content marketing strategy If you are not using video, audio, and written content and the strategies that we teach today, you need to rethink your strategy for 2025, or you're going to find yourself quickly left behind. All right. So, what's the pivot? Dun-dun-dun. The pivot is we need to, yes, focus on creating information solutions that you as a professional solve for your specific target market, but you've got to figure out how to master the AI prompting and then take that information and you need to add your experience. If you don't want to become irrelevant in the service market in the United States, just let AI take over. We're just a commodity. They can get this information or this product or service from anybody. Well, then you and your personal experiences are your brand. If you're a VA, you need to know absolutely everything about your client. If I ask you what their favorite ice cream is, you better know. How many kids do they have? What are their kids' names? What are their favorite hobbies, their favorite sports? Do they like to travel? Where do they like to travel? Why? Because we want to focus on deep, experience based written content. That means storytelling. What is your client's bias? If you're a financial advisor, what are your biased and preferences in your opinion? We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but it's super important that you put your opinion into every single academic piece. Otherwise, they don't need you. They can go to AI. So please make sure you're incorporating as many personal, deep experience learned behaviors, thoughts, and preferences into your content. All right. Then we need to shift our attention to video instead of just written. Written is a dying form of search engine optimization. And but not, you could rescue it. So get out the paddles if you combine it with video. And I know there's so many professionals. I don't have time and I don't have the energy and I don't like being on camera. But let's face it, before the internet, you were your brand. You had to teach a workshop. You had to show up at an event. You had to shake people's hands and you had to tell stories and be warm and connective to the people in the room. You had to get them to know and like and trust you in person. What difference is it than doing it in front of a camera? Yes, it may take some adjustments staring into a camera and thinking that you're doing the same thing, but there is no difference. Teaching a video or a workshop or a master class, it's no different than you standing up in front of a room of people. You just have to get used. I take a picture of an audience, put it behind your camera. You've done this before. You can do it in digital format. And if you don't, I'm sorry, your business is going to die because AI is taking over. And so, but what's the one thing they cannot take over? Your own personal values, convictions, and experiences. And they cannot replicate that. So don't chase AI with easily answered queries. Go deeper. Advisors, you should be doing all your own content so that you can dive deeper into your experiences and bias. But boy, if you're using one of our virtual assistants or any virtual assistant to do this for you, they're doing your prompting for you, your content creation for you. Boy, they better have, gosh, 1,000, 2,000 words that describe everything you possibly can about you. Like I said before, every detail, preferences, kids. And even though it's not going to go into your content, it's important for them to know your political views, your religious views. What are the things you don't want talked about? You do want talked about. Again, like I said, your bias. The deeper we go into who you are, then the more your content is going to stand out. And you can combine that with educational content that, yes, can be created by AI, but an AI with advanced prompting can drive it into deep experiences. Okay, so again, just reiterating, experienced based written content and video content. Why is video content better? Because it's deeper. They get to see your face, your facial expression, your humor, your delivery. People want to do business with people, not data, content, articles. They want to get to know you. And the way to get somebody to like, know, and trust you is to have a conversation. If you can't have that conversation face to face, you want to open your market to nationwide and don't want to be flying around the country, then you've got to learn how to do it in digital format, in video, and then it can be repurposed into audio as well. We went over that last week. You can go back and watch that episode from last week. We're in part 3 of a 5-part series, by the way, and you can find that in one of our playlists in our YouTube channel if you want to go back and you want to catch up. All right, so why experience-based content wins in 2025? Well, before that, I do that, I just want to quickly, because I gave everybody a chance to check in the chat. So I just want to kind of browse through here and whoa, okay, all right. So yeah, so Dallas Fort Worth area, Rodney, thanks for joining us. We have most my team is in the virtual Philippines, so we have a lot of VAs here from the Philippines, and people are coming to us from all kinds of platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn. So this is the value of doing live: is you get to build an audience that gets to know you and trust you. North Carolina, okay, California, yeah, Silicon Valley. Boca Raton, Florida. We have no surprise if you're a financial advisor that California and Florida is where the density of most of our competition is. And if you're in the real estate market, it's going to be Texas and Florida, maybe Tennessee, Nashville area, fastest growing in the country. All right, so I'm just looking at some of the other God, a lot of Floridas. Okay, I know this is great. Yes, Marie, I know my advisor has 2 daughters, owns horses, 3 dogs, and loves the LA Dodgers. Yes, love it. You got to know details about, you got to share details about yourself, or if you have a VA, virtual assistant doing it for you, you've got to share this information. It's so important. All right, so yeah, personalize your content. Okay, so we have lots of great stuff. We're going to move on in the presentation. I just want to make sure I'm addressing comments, questions, and we'll do that here in a moment, as well as I'll come back and I'll check questions, because this is your chance to ask the question that you've been dying to ask, and we can address it right here in this live feed. All right, and why experience-based content wins in 2025? Because AI can only answer simple questions, but human insights add value. Again, I'm absolutely convinced, I could be wrong, I'm absolutely convinced that AI will never be able to have a conscience. And a conscience is about your values. What are the things that you value? Because everybody values things differently. It's super important. Ask yourself, what are the top 10 most valuable things to me in my personal life? And then what are the top 10 most valuable things to you for your business, for your clients? And I would make sure you clearly communicate that, put it in writing. Everybody on your team should know, but especially your VA or virtual assistant. And we've had some amazing results with virtual assistants, even being public relations, where they do our communications for us. But you can't do that unless you're an expert at knowing who you're representing absolutely intimately. And that's going to take study. It's going to take extracting the information from your client and knowing absolutely everything about them. Articles should reflect real experiences, hard-won knowledge, and opinions. So here's another one. Create a top 10 list of your greatest accomplishments and the impact that it had on your client or your audience or your family or you. Super important because you want to be able to reflect on those experiences that changed your view of the world and your industry. Those stories are important. You need to write out those stories. It's also part of your legacy, and you want to be able to pass that legacy on. Okay, so here's our first example of the day. Sorry, I have a sore throat. The personal stories in finance and coaching. So, again, that goes back to reflecting on your own personal experiences, right? So, I want in the chat, whether you're a VA or you're any of the professionals at which we serve in the sales and consulting and advising industry, and that is share a story that's worked for you. Something you did in a meeting for a client that you think is something really unique to you, something you learned by trial and error, and gosh darn it, it works every time. How is it that you learned that? What is that strategy? Because we're also here to collaborate. We're not competing with each other. There's so much business out there. Only 30 to 40% of Americans actually have a financial advisor. There's a huge market out there. And right now, we have more advisors retiring than we have, significantly 2 times more retiring than who are joining our industry. Same thing in real estate. And so I encourage you, share. I don't care if you're watching this in replay 30 days from now, share those ideas in the chat and share them with each other. Some may work for you and some may work for others, but something you say may influence someone else, just like you were influenced, to share that one thing that works best for you in your business and why you use that as a tactic or teaching tool or whatever it is that's unique to you. Okay. YouTube, our new SEO frontier, because normally we think of YouTube like it is a social media platform. It's not. Social media platforms are usually thought of as more entertainment. YouTube's thought of more as education, and now we have this huge collide where YouTube needs to be both, because of AI, needs to be both how to solve a problem. But if there are 50,000 other people who've done the same AI search on how to solve that problem, how is it that you're going to get people to want to watch your tutorial video? If it's the same thing that's being spit out by ChatGPT 50 other ways from 50 other people, it's because you've got to combine the how to. That's why most people go to YouTube, and you need to combine it with your own personal experience, presentation, the way you educate, the way you entertain. All of that you have to add, and you can only do that in video and audio. Do that correctly, and then you can add the SEO to it, and you're going to watch your searchability explode online. Video content is harder for AI to replicate authentically. Forget video. Have you tried to replicate an image yet? I've been working on images with AI for 12 months, and it still can't even spell the text correctly, or at least without it being totally pixelized and my team having to totally recreate the image. I mean, it's good for ideas, but even video, even the best of videos, and my whole team has been trying to replicate voiceovers and video. Now, I know it can be done, and I know we've seen some deep fakes in the news, but I'm telling you, that's like the most expensive software that somebody spent 100 hours to make it believable, and it's still not believable. So I'm telling you, video content will be the most challenging for AI to try and replicate. And I also think the government is going to figure out a way to regulate it so that your likeness cannot be stolen. All right. And then focus on topics that require a real human touch. That's why we here at Advisor Marketing Hub always combine automation and technology with the personal touch of a virtual assistant, and then make sure that the client is providing as much personal information, stories, and approach and humor into it as possible. That recipe is the recipe for 2025. Okay, so quick story. Neil Patel's one of the, he's known as like the godfather of marketing in this day and age. And he was the first one to get it. He was the first one to get it that YouTube was actually the next frontier. And he got it back in like 2011 and 12. And he knew that there were more people searching YouTube and staying on YouTube longer consuming content than the Google search engine itself. If that's not powerful, we're talking about millions of queries and searches every single day. If that's the case, then people have built their entire businesses just being top of mind on YouTube only and not necessarily in the regular Google search engines. People would rather watch a video to learn about what you do than even go to your website. People's attention spans are short. They want to get to know you, and you have to be compelling. They have to know, like, and trust you. And then they'll watch a video. When they consume it, you've done more to connect with them than you could do in 20 articles. So he shifted his focus to YouTube search optimization and literally doubled his exposure and his brand over the last decade. His educational videos, I mean, they've had unbelievably massive growth, and we follow him as a personal mentor. And he's got a great blog. Go check it out, neilpatel.com. Consistent, value-driven content, value-driven values can't be replicated by AI is the key to success. That's a quote from actually him. I should have put quotations. Sorry, Neil, my apology. All right, so how to optimize your YouTube videos. I'm going to go through some of this quickly because this is a longer presentation today, but perform keyword research tailored for YouTube, meaning I know you have a great idea and you want to share it. And ChatGPT may have given you a subject line, but you've got to research what is the demand for that topic and that title and that description. You need to do your homework ahead of time. If you have a virtual assistant, they can do it for you. Craft SEO-friendly titles, detailed descriptions, and statistic tags. And I'm going to give you a list of software, and our free giveaway today is going to include all this software that you can use, or you can just hire a VA to do it, and they have all the access to all that software, so you don't have to go out and buy all these $9, $10, $20 a month subscriptions. Well, you hire one of our VAs, they have access to all of those tools. And then design eye-catching thumbnails and engaging intros. I believe that you should do all of that before you decide what's going to be in the middle of your sandwich. You need to make sure if you can't hook people into watching, it doesn't matter what the content is. You got to hook them with a title. The search engine needs to know how to find that title. It needs to know how to match it to a high demand query, meaning search that somebody's looking for. And it needs to have a high, an eye-catching, hooking thumbnail. If it stands out, you're going to increase your chance that they're going to click on your video instead of somebody else's to learn the answer to the problem they're trying to solve. All right. So as I mentioned just a minute ago, today we are going to be giving away our full SEO playbook for 2025. It has all the checklists in here that we've discussed in depth and gives you the ability to start building out your 2025 marketing strategy. All right, so keyword research we talked about. I was going to mention tools. So TubeBuddy, SEMrush, vidIQ. We lean heavily on vidIQ for YouTube. Huge benefit to using that advanced software because it literally will score suggest and score your titles and descriptions and videos, and based on demand, which is exactly what you're looking for. Content structure, just like I'm laying out content today. I had ChatGPT do it, but I added probably 800 words to describe my own personal opinions about what it produced. And then I had it rewrite all of my content today. Then I had to go in and add personal stories, change things around, make it my more specific to my preferences. And now you're seeing a cleanly laid out content structure that's organized with clean layouts. And in this layout, you can see I've blown up my camera. Instead of having a little tiny camera in the bottom corner here of the screen. And the reason for that is because we want people to look into your eyes, get to know you. And so even more than the content, it's you and how you present things. And then on-page SEO optimized for Google and YouTube, of course. Okay. And those softwares can do that for you. Okay, so let's go beyond the basics for just a moment, and then we're like on the downhill, and we're going to probably go over time, but you guys hang in there with this. I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. All right, so inject personal insights, anecdotes. What are anecdotes? Those would be like, I say all the time to my team and to when I'm coaching or speaking in front of a group. When you're creating content, if you confuse, you lose. There's a ton of phrases like that I use all the time. So people got to like, know, and trust you. You got to write all those out so that whoever's creating your content is incorporating those. If you have customized ChatGPT, you can put them in the custom instructions. It will use all of the phrases that you typically use on a regular basis. Okay, and then balance educational value with engaging storytelling. So that's why I asked you earlier in the broadcast, and I wish I could get to the ideas that people put in there about what are some of the most valuable things you learned about improving the service that you provide. So you want to be able to tell your story about a previous client that took your advice against their better judgment or their perceived better judgment, and how much that dramatically changed their lives. That's storytelling. People can relate to stories better than they can to factual content. Okay, so here's another example throwing at you, and you got to, again, whether you're live or you're in the chat, okay, okay, so this is an example for financial advising industry. Primary, those are our clients. Transform a generic debt article into a compelling personal story. So I'm curious, and I want people to put into the chat. There's, like, for instance, getting out of debt. There's the snowball method, and there's the avalanche method, right? So the snowball method is paying down the lowest balance first, so you feel like you're getting success faster, and then you're more likely to continue paying off all of your debts. And then there's the avalanche, where I may have reversed that, but that would be my dyslexia. And then there's the method of just paying down, and I think that's the avalanche. The highest interest first, and getting rid of that first, down to paying off the credit card that is the lowest interest. Now, that's my personal preference, and here's why. Again, adding personal story with value, because I have a ton of anxiety when if I just open my banking app, I start to sweat. And I know I'm a marketer in the financial industry, but I don't like managing finances. I don't like seeing bank balances. I can't stand opening envelopes and seeing how much I owe. So when I open my largest interest rate credit card and I see how much I just paid that month in interest fees, freaks me out. So from my own personal story and avoiding having to manage my anxiety, I prefer the avalanche method, and so does my wife. All right, because she has to deal with my anxiety. Which method works best for you? Please put it in the chat. I don't care if it's 6 months from now. Put it in the chat as we share these and share why. you're putting to practice what we're teaching today. And so you're taking one step closer to 2025 and having a much more effective marketing strategy. All right. So SEO myths, we're going to bust these really quickly. I know, going over time. I wanted to deliver so much today. All right. Keyword stuffing. Don't do it. People put like keywords and meta tags and hide white keywords into white backgrounds so you can't see them, so that Google, if I'm trying to advertise debt reduction and I put debt reduction as the title of all my images and I hide it in the footer and in the header, and don't do it. Okay. It's like a it's like a personal conversation. Think of it as real life. If I came up to you and said, I'm a marketing consultant who specializes in marketing consultants, and my job title is marketing consultant, and I do marketing consultant for financial advisors. If that's the old way of stuffing keywords, you'd walk away, you'd tune out. This guy's a I was going to say idiot, but that's the way we think, right? I'm just saying what we think. We would never do that in person. Don't do it on digital marketing. The more keywords or variety of keywords, the better, the more people you attract. Not true. If you're dressing up to go to the prom, I know we all hopefully all had a chance to go to a school dance. You're not going to try and figure out what are all the things I could wear that the most amount of people at the dance are going to be, it's going to grab their attention. No, you want to wear only what is going to grab the attention of your date that you're taking to the dance. Don't be all things to all people. And then SEO, set it and forget it. And that is absolutely not true. Digital marketing is progressing faster than we've ever seen in the history of digital marketing, and it's going to keep getting faster and faster and faster. So you always have to reevaluate. If you haven't updated your website in the last 2 years, your website is completely outdated, and I guarantee you your traffic is declining. All right. Plan your 2025 content strategy. So, of course, we're going to give you a handbook at the end of this, and you can start the process. And we have templates, we have checklists, and incorporate both written and video and audio into that plan. Please, I beg you, if you need help with that, we have services for that we can help you with, where we can automate the entire process. The only thing we can't replicate is you getting on camera and sharing your own personal values and views. Schedule and track performance to refine your approach. That means having someone, if it's not you, check the analytics on every video, every audio, every article you post. Make sure you have Google Analytics connected to all of your social platforms and your website. And you need to learn what works and what doesn't work. And you will never know that unless you track your performance. And all of you financial advisors should know that, because that's what you tell your clients about their finances. So if you're not doing it in your marketing, I don't mean to offend you, then you're being a hypocrite. Learn from planning and analytics, which is what you guys do best, right? Okay, quick recap, and we're going to wrap up. And apologize I didn't get a chance for reviewing all of the comments or showcasing comments or our Q&A today. I'm going to have to forego that for trying to stuff too much information into a broadcast. But make sure you focus. If this is all you remember from the broadcast today, focus on deep, experienced, value-based content. Leverage your YouTube as a key or even primary search engine tool to be found on the internet. And everything else, your social, your website, everything else, that can be in the description notes and the show notes and everything else. But it will grow the traffic to your website faster than anything else you could post on the internet. Stay consistent and stay adaptable. Adjust each week. You're going to have to adjust your approach based on analytics until you perfect the process and keep up with the changes. All right. So that's it. We talked about taking your next step in your SEO journey. So download the full 2025 SEO playbook. The link is in the show notes, or if on some other platforms, it may be in the comment section from me if I have to add it afterwards, but we'll make sure that you have that link and you can download the playbook that we've created. Next week, don't forget, we have part 4 of a 5-part series about digital marketing strategies for 2025. Next week's email marketing. So, email marketing, everybody thought was going to be dead this year because of the new algos that came out from Google and LinkedIn and Yahoo, all these other ISPs. It's not dead. We just had to adjust. We had to reinvent it. And if you combined video marketing with email marketing, you're going to smash 2025. I promise you. But again, join us next week. It's every Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And if thought today was valuable to you in any way, I'd like you to like, share, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss future episodes. And we want to thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Digital Advisor Weekly. Have a great week.